Everybody mute. Hello there, and welcome to Thank the Maker, a podcast about heroes, princesses, scoundrels, hokey religions, ancient weapons, and all things Star Wars. I'm Adam Russell.
I'm Nick Gambarian.
And I am Sicky Sickerson, Mike Forrester. I had a thing this weekend. I decided to shave a mustache. I'm looking at it on camera now, realizing might not have been the call. Maybe, though. This is why we have a YouTube.
You're looking like a Y-Wing pilot right now to me.
That's cool.
I tried that in October. I shaved it because we had to film a bunch of stuff that we were going to use later in the year when I knew I wasn't going to have a mustache anymore. And I was like, I got to get rid of the mustache. But I was kind of feeling how stupid it looked. You know, I was in the mindset of I'm so tired of looking at myself. I have to do something different. And that's when mustache comes into play.
Right. And that's exactly what I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
In non-mustache news, what happened this week where the Star Wars news just turned on? All this stuff. What is happening this week?
We're rapidly approaching Celebration. You know that, so they're ramping up the stuff. We have we got Andor dropping on the 22nd. Yeah, 22nd.
In a completely different format than we've ever done.
Yeah. April 22nd. I should say.
So this is another Disney Plus experiment, being that the consistency of either the day or the time or whatever's going on here. This is to speculation of a couple people, mainly one of our producer, Jason, says that this might be a run for the Emmys. It has to end, I believe, by June or whatever that process is to submit it before then. But the fact that we're getting Andor has been traditionally the longest episodes of any Star Wars media we've gotten. So for us to get 3 drops in one day, are they going to release it at midnight the night before? Is this all of a sudden there's 3 episodes at 9 p.m.? What are we going to do? How do we do this? What's happening?
It's so interesting, and we're actively trying to sort this out right now because we've been doing for the past 4 series that we've had on Disney Plus. We've been doing immediate reactions the night of, which is fine if it's 38 minutes long or something, as little as 20 something when it was, animation. But if we're getting 3 episodes per week, 4 weeks in a row, if they're dropping all at once at night, is this a midnight stream now? Do we do 2 episodes? Until we get more details, we don't exactly know how we're going to navigate it.
No. I'm going to quit my job at the cheese sandwich factory, just like a podcast.
Right. And then we're going to get into this Andor trailer, but then we also have some other news, which is interesting. I think we should talk about that after the show. But
we'll do that in the bonus segment for patrons. But the rumor is, and we're of course not a rumor podcast. We don't participate in the rumor mill. We don't post speculations, rumors, leaks, stuff like that. We do discuss them when they seem relevant and discuss the potential consequences or implications of something. But one pretty firm bit of news, everyone's reporting on it, it seems to be legit this time, is that Kathleen Kennedy may be retiring, stepping down from her position as head of Lucasfilm at the end of 2025. The internet is ablaze over the whole thing. Part of that blaze is people celebrating. I'm not one of those people. I don't think any of us are those people. It is exciting to think about what the next chapter might be, but we're not going to talk about this in any disparaging type of way when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy. She's a legend. I mean, she's been a professional in Hollywood, producing some of the biggest, best, most influential films, literally our entire lives.
Right.
Our entire lives. Going all the way back to Poltergeist and E.T. and Indiana Jones, and
Jurassic
she's a legend.
Park, everything. Yeah,
she's a pro. So she's had a long, amazing career. A lot of people have taken out their frustrations with Star Wars not meeting their expectations on her. That's a whole ass thing. We'll talk about it again in the bonus segment for patrons after the show. But right now, let's get into this Andor trailer. I'm very, very excited about this. Let's well, before we start looking at the footage, you guys want to give your immediate reactions and talk about. We're not going to hear the audio. We're just going to look at images for the sake of not getting flagged.
Sure.
Mike, you want to give your first impression?
Yeah, I think myself, we've covered this topic a couple times, where I've kind of had that struggle of understanding that Star Wars. This is kind of a larger conversation, right? Three dudes talking about the future of Star Wars. Can you believe it? The internet has never seen us before. This is crazy. But we've had that discussion about, does Star Wars need to modernize? And I think overwhelmingly the concept is no. But when you're doing something like this, Andor still was not viewed. It still does not have a ton of minutes, even compared to a show that seems to be critically banned or panned from fans, as Book of Boba Fett. Obi-Wan Kenobi did massive numbers compared to Andor.
The Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, like all of it.
Right. Andor is not a well-watched series, despite how critically acclaimed it is. So my first reaction was actually, is my Spotify still playing while the trailer was on? Right. So I'm having that same experience as a lot of people that felt like, whoa, it's not even a Star Wars version of this song. It's just straight up a Steve Earle song. Now, if you know Steve Earle and you know what he stands for as a very left-wing person in a very right-wing space, it makes total sense. It's actually incredibly bold of them to do a song choice like that, with all of the accolades put right in there. This was definitely done on purpose for either engagement or to possibly reach a new audience that might be encouraging some people to get into Andor. And maybe it's just the timeliness of the whole thing. But in terms of the visuals, I paused this trailer 40 times. I was like, what is that? Like, we knew all this stuff was coming. I think we, the TIE prototype, we knew all this stuff was happening, but like in terms of the scale of this whole thing was like insane. And I love the fact that the vibe of the whole thing is still absolutely on track with season one. But of course, knowing what we know about the segmentation of the specific time jump between each of the episodes, I think we saw a little bit of everything, which makes me super excited. So all in all, this trailer crushed it. Again, it's just me always saying Star Wars belongs to John Williams, or a John Williams-esque score, as the Kiners and Giacchinos, all these guys. That's the only thing that really stood out to me. The trailer's fantastic. It's awesome. I'm get me to this damn show so we can watch this and chew it up and probably rewatch it.
Nick, what did you think? We talked a little bit offline, of course.
I mean, it looks even better than season one, which is a phenomenal thing to get excited about. Yeah, I mean, we talk about execution a lot all the time, or maybe I just do on the show. I think we all chime in about it, but like, the music was so distracting. I really like. I wish tactfully it would have been done differently. Like Mike said, I think we probably could talk this entire podcast about things they could have done or what they're trying to do or whatever. But the theme of the song, cool. I love it. That's great. Mm-hmm. But it might have been less distracting if they had a different arrangement of it, a more Star Warsy arrangement. That would have been something where I would have said, if I was behind the scenes, I'm like, I love this song. I love what it stands for. Let's do a Star Wars version of it to tie it all into this. Because I also just feel like the trailer wasn't cut to it in a weird way. Like I didn't really see that like enough visual like pacing to the
Only a few little
to the
things,
song. Yeah, so I'm just like,
And when he
like,
hits the detonator, I think that was the only time where it dropped
yeah,
out.
totally.
And, you know,
So the music, you know, like looking at the comments, everything was about the music. It was the first thing we talked about. So Mike, what you said, like, is this for engagement? If they're literally just trying to be weird to get engagement, like, I hate this world so much, you know, like, I hate that Disney finally is like, well, wow, we got so many comments, or, you know, and it's all negative, but hell, people are talking about it. It's like, oh man, I hate this place. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not for me. You know, the discourse out there could be like, oh, it's trying to reach like more casual people and whatever, but I'm like, I don't know, like, it just didn't. I don't even see how that reaches more casual people. Like, I had never heard of Steve Earle before, so if you're trying to reach a casual Star Wars fan, how are you going to try to reach them with a 21-year-old song that isn't even in his top 10 stream songs on Spotify? You know, like, it just seems like, okay, I just I cannot pinpoint what they were going for. So it left me confused, and I just wanted to enjoy the trailer, which I did visually. The second time I watched it, I think I was on mute, you know, like, I just needed to like watch it. So that's it. I'm so excited. I wish all Star Wars looked like this. It looks so
it
good.
looks incredible. Dude.
what I think is interesting, naturally, of course, what Star Wars fans don't like, they're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. It's fixed.
Right.
So YouTube, of course, has done some orchestral arrangements, and among a schlock of, I tried a different song for the Andor trailer. I hope you guys like it. You know, you're like, okay. I Guerrilla Radio, someone like edited it to Guerrilla Radio, and I'm like, really? Is this is what we're gonna do? But there were a couple times where there were some more what they would consider to be a Star Wars style trailer for Andor season 2 with more of an orchestral arrangement. And honestly, when I watched it, there was a part of me that did go, it lacks the excitement in some way. It was so new that I was like, yo, I don't know what's happening for what I know in my brain of this show, and I don't know what's happening of my brain in this song. And in some ways, I'm like, I think I get it. I think I understand what they were going for. And I'm sure internally it was a big swing for them to do that. But it definitely, hearing a more traditional take on it, I understand if they're going for an audience that they wanted to make curious about this show. I get it, because when I saw the traditional one, I said, yeah, this feels like something I've already seen before. Based on the fact that I watched the show, already, you know what I mean? So you're like, okay.
My thought was, well, first, the trailer was incredible. It was beautiful. I'm so pumped. I felt like, you know how The Empire Strikes Back after A New Hope immediately feels so leveled up. Everything. Same thing with Return of the Jedi. Actually, you start to see the scope of the Empire, and like just how you see like the opulence of it in like the shininess of Vader's helmet, and the floor and the hangar, the number of stormtroopers there, and it's like,
his
oh
chamber,
wow,
everything.
yeah, we have leveled up. I got the exact same feeling. I just got goosebumps. The music, I got the heads up about it because I was on a plane when it happened, and the text came flooding in. Thank the maker chat. So I had a heads up about the music, so it didn't hit me too hard. But my first thought was guitar. Okay, that feels weird. Guitar always feels weird in Star Wars music, except for Igaka, because it's so affected and fuzzy and feels alien, you know. But
Right.
a normal guitar sound from a normal artist, Steve Irwin or whatever the fuck his name is.
It's not Steve Irwin.
Rest in peace.
Nice.
The lyrics are perfect. The lyrics are perfect. And you guys were talking in the chat about how they did Space Oddity with Hutty's lyrics replacing, for Skeleton Crew.
Major Tom. Yeah, Major Tom.
Yeah, that worked. But if the point of this is the lyrics, how do you do that? And do you just build it into a score? I don't know. Do you do a remix? But I feel pretty confident that the reason they did it was because, and you can see it in the titles when we start to break it down, calling this, prestige TV. To me, they're appealing to HBO type viewers. Like they're trying to put this on the level with Succession, something that
Sure.
people will watch because it's a prestige drama. It's about politics and revolution and all this kind of stuff. Like if they want to pull in like the Succession viewers, putting up something that feels a little less like nerdy and sci-fi with a song like
Sure.
this may be the angle.
Right. Well,
So,
and you're like to a point where we've seen, at some point, I think it's a deeper cut song, which is good. It's very of the era. I mean, his background as a Vietnam War vet and incredibly, anti-government after his experience. Very, you kind of get to a point where, you're like, okay, what are we going to hear? Sympathy for the Devil? Are we going to hear Fortune? We might as well just hear Fortunate Son at some point. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I think this was done, again, it's me also pushing my own view of what I think Star Wars should be. And so in that regard, if this does end up bringing some people to be interested in it, then that's successful in that way. Because again, the thing that we still go for is that Andor is taking a massive swing in its budget. It's the most expensive Star Wars show they have ever made. I think we're seeing that pay off, certainly. But again, it still didn't get the viewership. And as much as we can go, if the critics love it, that's great. But they're still paying the most they've ever paid for a Star Wars show. And it's one of the lowest watched series.
Yeah.
Got to take some swings.
Yeah, they're taking big swings across the board. The money.
I guess what would have been
everything.
I guess what would have been successful to me is if it was a song I never heard before and I now wanted to listen to it. Like I just the song didn't really hit for me. And like if I didn't want to go listen to it and be like, oh, this song rules, So it's kind of like they tried something new, but I think probably what would have been the home run with it would be like people being like, I didn't know that song before and it's awesome. It's kind of like I don't even know if that was the right song necessarily. Lyrically, sure, but
Sure.
I don't know. I guess that's where I would have been, like give the audience what they don't even know they want. Right. This wasn't that,
Sure.
Yeah. It is interesting. But let's get into the visuals because there's just so much to chew on. I'm so excited. Let's do it. All right. Opening shot. This is Coruscant, we assume.
Yep. We've got a lady with Pomeranians.
That's Andor. This is, see on the left, that little edge right there? Is this some kind of like, what do you call it? Like an outdoor forum, almost like an auditorium, amphitheater kind of thing?
Yeah, looks like it. Yep, definitely.
Yeah, and then there's an explosion in that space, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Stormtroopers everywhere.
Yeah.
Another Andor walking through a corridor that looks kind of like the ISB headquarters, right?
Something. I don't know who this. I mean, is this Cassian? Is this someone else? Who is this?
Yeah, it looks like him. What was that right there? It was a lightning.
They're sabotaging some kind of speeder, some kind of transport, or is that looks like the same? What is that? Like a street sweeper or some kind of assault carrier or something?
Yeah. Yeah, these all have to be shots of Cassian. Like this feels like almost like a montage
of the time periods. Sure.
Of
I
like
can see
just
the different eras.
Yeah.
Because isn't that you've got that hood?
Uh-huh.
It almost is kind of reminiscent of that poncho that he had when he has to off Arvel Skeen over Aldani.
Then there's a shot so that's the same one blasting someone. This is.
You think that's Cassian?
I don't know. Maybe.
That looks like it could be Bix because I think we see her with a hood on from the front later.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Officer going down. Cassian walking
Look at
in like
this.
a badass.
Yavin. Straight up
Yes.
Yavin here.
So that's got to be the fourth
is-
arc, huh?
Yeah, I would assume so. And the swag, look at this guy. But this is very Rogue. This is very Rogue One Cassian right here.
Yeah.
We know that
same shirt
he gets
probably.
a new. Yep, and he gets a new jacket, but the holster looks like he has a different blaster here. But this is definitely well established. This is Yavin.
I doubt it, but I wonder if they shot in where is it, in South America where
Jason
they
went there this
did-
summer.
for real? Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. What is the country? Where is it? Is it Peru?
I thought it was Bolivia.
Either way, South America. Yavin. Here he is talking to someone with.
Wait a minute.
these-
Was it Guatemala? Because
Guatemala.
Of,
It's Guatemala.
Because of
Cassian. Diego
no, because of no. It's Oscar
temples.
Isaac, right? Oscar Isaac said because he's Guatemalan that he wanted Poe to be from Yavin.
Oh, that's cool.
Does that ring a bell? Right?
Yeah,
A little bit, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason says Tikal, Guatemala.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And are these spacesuits in this next shot? They've got the orange
this
with the
is-
straps.
This is the prototype tie outfit.
Oh, the flight suit.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So it has an updated, based on, of all things, a T-shirt, a souvenir T-shirt, and also a Black Series action figure shows us that it is indeed an updated version, almost like an enhanced version of the standard TIE pilot. So this one is almost like a combination of like Death Trooper, like has like the harness, different harness on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some upgrades on here as well. So this is almost like a specialist version of a pilot.
Grarrock in the chat, in the patron chat, says it's got to be Melshi in that shot.
Ooh, I like that.
Running through a wheat field, it looks like, somewhere.
Mhm.
And then
My name is
stormtroopers
Maxis.
firing.
Aurelius.
And those are go touch wheat.
Yeah.
And then these look like grain silos, like domed grain silos in the back.
Yeah.
Is that an animal back there, or is that a person? It could be.
I don't know.
What do you call it? Those
We're-
big tick things that Anakin wrestled with the weird CG puppet flopping
I
around.
know.
Remember that?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
he was playing with Padme and played dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Some the chat says probably Iowa. True, but they're thinking that based on Jason says based on the concept art from Rogue One, the planet might be Dantooine, which is cool.
Oh, nice. I'm
Like
sticking
that.
with Iowa. He was at James T. Kirk's farm. Here he is in a tie, Andor is in a tie. Maybe the Interceptor that
This
we
is
see
that-
later.
Yeah, this is
I
a
think that-
prototype tie.
People have been calling the TIE Avenger. Is that right?
Yeah, it's from it's Legends, I think, right? Or the or
Video
some
game.
video game, yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It's it's like one of those things where you go, Tony Gilroy is not a guy to go, hey, what would be a fun thing to throw in here if you were to do the TIE Defender or something like that? But this makes sense. It's almost like a sleek. It actually reminds me of like Kylo's TIE Silencer,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Longer,
But-
like that.
but with the style of Vader's TIE Advanced. It's pretty interesting.
Are
Yeah,
these
the TIE Fighter video
controls,
game. I remember that.
the normal TIE Fighter controls aren't like that at all, right?
No, this looks more advanced.
Like a dual, almost like a zero turn mower kind of vibe
Right.
with the sticks.
Oh, how Missouri.
And
And
then
then
he
yeah, I like this.
Yeah, so there he is. He fires the missile like a missile. Have we ever seen, aside from the rocket launcher in Rogue One that blows up the tank in the street, we've never seen a missile with like a smoke trail like this, right?
In live action?
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
think of.
I don't think so.
blows up
Yeah,
this
that's just straight that transport right there.
Sidewinder missile, dude.
Kaboom.
And I love this angle, attached
Mhm.
to the wing underneath the tie. Like it's so, Top Gun, any other movie with airplanes, jets. Great shot. He flies through the smoke. Okay, the first season of Andor was hailed by critics everywhere. The title card says.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Facts. Saw Gerrera.
Lies. Deception.
Every day more lies.
What will you become?
God, I love this. I mean, I use this image in the thumbnail for a reason. It's
So
great
one
to
of
see.
one of the production designers from Rogue One was basically they chimed Glenn Dillon and said, "Hey man, looks like they did you right. They didn't change too many things on it," which I think is great. So I'm sure that there will be some very, very, very subtle modifications, if any, but this looks pretty dang close to the Saw Gerrera that we saw in Rogue One. So I think that's pretty great.
You just expect him to grab that breather and just yeah,
Just suck on a little fresh air.
suck it down. Emotional, thrilling, and exciting, says the rap.
I'm in.
There's a
Like
a
let
dance party?
get some thank the maker quotes on here. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I get it. When Leslie Headland does a dance number, people lose their mind, but when Tony Gilroy does it, we're losing our mind. Like, what's going on
Right.
here?
Come on, people.
Yeah, so
This
this looks
the
like some
way they're
kind of
dancing
ceremony.
here at Mon Mothma's, this ball, Coruscant ball that she's at.
Yeah.
The way they're dancing reminds me of, I think, the second Matrix movie in underground. They're in that big like '90s like rave kind of
Yeah.
thing, and everyone seems like they're on ecstasy. That's the vibe here.
It's kind of like whatever species was on Pisana too during that. Was it Pisana?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Rise of
Festival
Skywalker.
of the
Also,
ancestors.
Festival of the
they call it?
Ancient
Yeah.
Ancestors. Yeah.
I think that this is her daughter's wedding.
Oh,
I like that.
dark,
Where'd you
shitty.
what came where'd you find that? You put that together?
I've watched some other videos.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that
it makes sense 'cause
she's
They left that hanging at the end, how she was going to be married off or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Maddie Gunner says, everyone's dancing at Perrin's wake. His funeral.
It's true. Yeah.
Die, you piece of shit. All right. Confident and sophisticated, says the Atlantic. There we go. There's our boy
Luthen Rail.
Luthen
Yeah.
Rail.
Now, here's what's terrifying to me. It almost looks like a very poetic. He's looking up from a blaster wound.
Oh yeah. So you don't
Right.
think he's over a stove right now, making stir fry?
I mean, he definitely could be, but there's something about like,
Oh yeah, the look.
no. Yeah, but you know what I
The
mean.
look
It's
is
almost like
like-
he's been like Deidre got to him or something.
He's got
he's
a look
also
on
not
his
in the
face.
trailer a lot, so
Yeah.
he can die.
He's got this Tobias Beckett look on his face, like he just got smoked by Han on the
100%.
cliff, Yeah, he's
boy.
got to die in this, Truly phenomenal storytelling, says.
Oh yeah,
some
okay.
other
So that is
publication. The
that might
Verge.
be Bix with that vibe.
Yeah,
Classic action movie shot here. Bix and Cassian walking. Is that Bix?
Yeah, that's definitely Bix.
Walking away, hitting a detonator explosion in the back. No flinching. No flinching allowed.
Ding. Oh, there he is.
There he is, you son of a
Farming.
bitch.
A man of your talent.
Deploy the garrison.
Lonely, I suppose.
Iconic shot. Looking at the partially constructed Death Star minus the dish that we saw in Rogue One.
The super
very
weapon
close.
itself.
Yeah.
All these Star Destroyers
because
flying
they're
around.
still. I mean, according to last season, and Kino Loy, right? Like they're still building the dish, right? Wasn't that
Right.
the final like end credit scene?
Right.
That all those prisoners were building that. So
Yep.
That's going to be amazing to see that. Like, who knows if they're going to do it, but the idea of like a big convoy of Star Destroyers almost like a when you ever see on the highway propeller blades for
Yeah.
turbines,
Yeah.
and they got the flags on it. It's wide load, and it's just going down the street. Like imagine that in space with star destroyers escorting this giant dish.
Right.
That would be sick. All right, there's a dead
Okay.
somebody on Yavin. It looks like in the doorway of
I don't
a
know if
hangar.
this is. I don't know if this is Yavin. I think
Oh,
this is. Those are the Cavern Angels. So that's Saw's crew right there.
yeah, in
Those are the
Scotland or
partisans.
whatever,
Yeah.
where that was
So
shot. Those X-wings are
I
so sick looking, dude.
yeah, I don't know. So that's Dakar possibly. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So it looks like I mean Saw's original hideout was more like the one that we saw in Andor was more like in an actual cavern, right? It was actually, in the side of a mountain.
Like
This is a little bit
old
more open.
mines, like it was
Right.
cut into the side. Yeah.
Right. But it looks like this is possibly where they part with the like this does not look like an Imperial outfit on this guy. This makes me think that this is where Saw and Luthen might have said we're going our own separate ways at this point.
Oh yeah, that
Mhm.
checks out. A prestige drama with searing action and Emmy-worthy performances, says Rolling Stone.
Here, here.
Okay, so this transport taken off, same shot here, two
Yep.
X-wings lifting off, and then this transport. This looks like an updated LAT transport in a way, gunship.
Mhm.
Mike, do you know anything about the ship in the middle?
I haven't seen this ship before, and I'm sure. Let me see the patrons. What? Oh man, it almost makes me want to go back and watch Rogue One to see if we've seen this ship before. But definitely has. I can't remember in Andor what they were escaping from Ferrex with. It looks familiar. I'm with Graurock B is like it looks familiar, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like. Let's see. Yeah, Rebels or Clone War. I don't know. Patrons are going off, and I'm agreeing with this. It feels like a familiar ship. And I don't know if it's maybe like an updated version or like a Clone Wars era version that's been modified. There's something familiar about the ship in particular.
You would
So
assume there's going to be quite a bit of stuff in live action here pulled from Rebels.
I'd hope so.
Ships, uniforms, things like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, Metagunner, modified Republic gunship. That's the vibe I get too. Like, what's his name on YouTube and Instagram? EC Henry.
Yeah.
He does
Yeah.
all the
He's
3D
doing
models
stuff like
and
that all the time. Yeah.
like he just did like an updated Y wing, and
Yeah.
he writes these fan lore kind of things to go along with these new designs. This looks like something he would have done. I hope that guy gets a job at Lucasfilm because he makes the best shit. All right, moving on.
Oh, so
Another
many X-Wings.
explosion, another angle
Yeah.
of
So this is the same place in the steps.
the auditorium kind of thing.
Yeah.
But a bunch of people are already dead. There's another explosion. Cassian is across the way. So this has to be some kind of, operation where he looks surprised here. Like it hasn't gone. Like maybe Saw Gerrera is showing up here and throwing a wrench in this plan.
Yeah.
So Jason's bringing up that, and I saw this. Yeah, the Gorman massacre, which is, if I'm correct, why Mon Mothma contacts the Ghost Crew, right, in Rebels,
and decides to.
Yeah, like
the
pretty
speech
much move on with the rebellion.
that Star Wars Explained just posted recently, where she like basically fully goes official rebellion, right?
I like that speculation.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the rebellion, they basically drop a Star Destroyer on this massive crowd.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the highlight of
I don't know.
Right? It's insane what they do. It's like catastrophic level.
I would like to see that.
They are the bad guys. All right, here is Who is this grabbing Cassian by the collar? This isn't a character we know.
Apparently, again, this is not all off the top of my head, but I watched enough videos. Apparently that's Luthen's assistant in the antiquity store.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
Because she was. It
But
seemed
not-
like in a lot of. Like she was
Not-
above him in a way, right?
Possibly, yeah.
That makes sense. Oh,
And
yeah,
then there's what's his name?
Brasso.
Brasso. He's in
Love him.
Space Iowa, getting held back by stormtroopers by these grain silos. This spring. Okay, here's the shot Mike's been drooling over for the past
Oh boy.
24 hours.
Oh boy.
We have some troopers approaching, walking towards the camera, or the camera's dollying back as they move down this hallway. They seem to all be wearing, all five are wearing the same kit, right? But it's like it's a mashup of a few different things. Tell us what you think here, Mike.
So this looks like we've got a combination of a couple things. We've got tank trooper parts. We've got the mud trooper part, which is painted white, which is super interesting. Some of the forearms
the chest,
look,
right?
Yeah, the chest looks like a cat and a mud trooper, which is also, they use the security forces on Ferrix that Cassian went undercover as. It was the same chest, it was just black, right? But it was more of like the Aldani patrol, right? So these I would almost say look like ISB commandos or someone that requires like a fast deployment. Like these guys don't have helmets. You have an ISB officer that's somewhat armored, not as much as these other guys.
In the back there with the hat.
He's in the back with the hat on. So he is the officer there. And I certainly think this is like a quick deploy. There was a part of me that was like, man, maybe these forearms are a little bit, we know that we're supposed to get range troopers back from Solo, which is really cool. And they have different boots because they don't need the magnetized ones from the train. So you can start to see that. I think we're going to, he had this trooper in the front here on the left has the mud trooper goggles. So he has some level of, there's definitely parts that they're pulling from Glenn Dillon's archive specifically. So it'll be very interesting to see, but the white shoulders, the white chest with that formation is a mashup of a couple different variations. And it looks like it could be Cyril Karn in the back, which I think is interesting. So he's moved himself back up.
I can see this, talking about they don't have helmets, seems like maybe like an emergency kind of situation in the building that they're in. Like I could imagine there's a room with a bunch of lockers full of, higher capacity, or more powerful weapons, a bunch of armor, and they just throw it on in case of emergency kind of thing. Security has to suit up kind of deal.
Well, remember in the very beginning of the trailer, you saw Cassian walking down this hallway.
Yeah.
Right. So they're definitely
like the response.
Right. Or this is the meetup or something like that. So it's like
looks badass.
Geeked on this.
There's Dedra, I assume in the ISB headquarters looking out the window. She does not look happy. This looks like Perrin in the back and Mon Mothma being in the foreground talking to
Davo.
Talking to old brain. Help me.
What?
Krennic?
Director Orson Krennic.
Yes.
Is this Skulden? Is this actually her? This isn't her husband. This isn't Perrin. Remember, Perrin has kind of the longer, curlier hair. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Her
man bun.
Yeah, her basically her kind of co-conspirator. That's who I think this is. But what's interesting about this is that
Davos Skulden.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep. And Krennic has these black epaulets that are similar to what Thrawn has. And so it's kind of, and this collar that he has, we've never seen that before. But it looks like he has the cape on. but it's interesting because in Rogue One, we see him without these. So it almost makes me think that Tarkin might have knocked him down a rank. We don't know yet to know if like if Krennic was possibly brought up because his costume here is more intricate than what we've seen him in Rogue One.
Or is this like
I'm glad you
formal wear
brought
because they all have it in the background as well, right?
this
Those
might
are all-
be the wedding still, right? Because why would that?
Yeah.
Wait, am I confused? Like that's the dude whose son Mon Mothma's daughter is marrying, right? That's the
Betrothed
father
to,
of the
yeah.
son.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
So this could be the wedding because that's Mon Mothma to the left, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then straight back in the middle is that what's his name? Who's in A New Hope in the board meeting? Kind of.
Who?
What is his name?
Yularen? Yularen?
No, one of the other guys. Maybe I'm
Not
mixing
sure.
things up.
It says,
bald
let's see,
guy.
Physics Buddy Joe says Captain Lagret behind Davo too.
Okay.
Yeah, this could be formal ISB. This could be like celebration. This could be like bring all your decorations out. That's true. It could be.
So
at the
I'm glad
wedding.
you brought up Tarkin though. Like, isn't that like a huge thing that kind of has to happen in the timeline of this show? Is like Tarkin and Krennic
You would think.
Kinda
Yeah.
butting heads.
right?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
that's. I wonder if that is going to be in here, and it's just not in the trailer to, keep us in suspense. But like, man, how are they going to get around that if they don't do that?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're going to have
There
to
it is.
show Tarkin, right?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Oh, or they might just mention him off air. Or I'm sorry, they might just mention him but not talk about him.
Yeah.
Or because Krennic looks much younger here than when we see him in Rogue One.
And Blue Guy 808 also mentions Thrawn, obviously, because that's TIE Defender, right? And the
Yes.
Death Star are kind of like. I don't know why I just don't see Thrawn using like any character. Tony Gilroy using any character that like exists.
We certainly are getting to the top of the imperial food chain, and eventually we might get a couple people. So I'm interested in this. Or do we see the Dark Horse himself? Do we see Galen Erso in this?
Yeah.
Like I don't think we're gonna
like this is a prequel to Rogue One. They have to not mess around here. You know.
Right. So that could be cool.
Give me
I'd
Vader
love
also,
to see.
please.
Oh yeah.
We'll see. We'll go through all of this again when we do Andor Bingo leading up to the premiere. All right, here's the TIE blasting in the hangar. We've never this rapid fire blaster stuff like this.
No, that's
We've
why
never seen
it's
that.
so good. Yeah, because generally the the cannons take a few seconds to recharge. So this just like annihilation here clearly shows that this is one mean piece of machine.
Like fully automatic.
Yep.
Then more shots of the dance. Mon Mothma's on ecstasy or Molly. Everybody's super high. They're dancing. There's a hyperspace jump with a ship that is
that's the same that transport. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that's an updated Republic gunship. That would be so sick.
It looks similar. Yeah. And then the R5 unit in the Cavern Angel is pretty cool.
What is this droid at the party?
I think this is a projector.
Oh,
I think
that makes
those
sense.
look like those look like two lenses, and I think it's either some kind of hologram or it's sharing messages for people or something. And then you have Davo.
Camera?
Oh, that's true. You
like
have Davo
like at a wedding. Maybe it's like it's this is the hollow
photo booth. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Put on your funny hat and blow the.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you see Davo in the back there.
Yeah, what a dipshit. There's our boy. There's K2SO.
The chances are high. High.
Stormtroopers running into a hangar. We're assuming this is where all the explosions have gone down with that TIE from before.
Yep.
There's your girl, Nick, hugging Cassian. He's making a rescue, I guess, and Space Iowa?
So it
Picking
looks
her up?
like I'm assuming they got Brasso, they got Bix. Bix was in mental jail when all the stuff went down in Ferric. So I'm assuming they grabbed all the crucial people to Cassian and said, he's behind this. Grab all the people that are in his co-conspirator circle and let's transport them out. And this is Cassian rescuing them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it lines up because, he's in that tie. He blows up that ship on the wheat planet. They're clearly on the wheat planet here. He's standing in front of the tie. So like this all makes sense.
Blow it up, land, do an extraction.
Right.
All right. Next we've got
this
riot
looks like
gear.
Ferrix or
Yeah.
the Gorman Massacre, if that's where we're going to do it. So you can see this configuration just in black, similar to the troopers that were already in there, which is a very similar mud trooper from Solo, just in black. And
mud troopers with batons and riot shields.
Right.
Yeah. And there's another one of these tanks, kind of, right? But it's like bulldozing the street.
I think it's crashing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's been sabotaged or something, but this looks like this is some kind of, the front of it looks almost like it's big and chunky. It almost seems like it's like a people mover. If people won't stop gathering, it just push them aside, or it's some kind of transport, or is this something that Brasso and those guys from the shipyard?
It looks like, with that in mind, it looks like it could be a construction vehicle with the yellow and black stripes.
Sure.
That they maybe just take to like hit them,
just rack through a barricade.
Right.
Yep.
Next shot, there's a little
Cyril Karn.
Dude, the wardrobe on this show is one of the best things I've ever seen.
Dude.
Like beyond Star Wars.
Yes.
Like it is insane.
This
insane.
That's a Star Wars
undercoat thing.
Star Wars necktie.
I want to wear this outfit. Like I've been looking for like formal wear that doesn't look, something that could look a little Star Wars that I could actually wear to weddings and things. I would wear this in a second.
It's like when you were a kid, you were like, wow, I wonder what kind of suits we're going to wear when we're older. It's like, that's what I picture. Yeah. Not just the same shitty suits from the 60s,
Tux from Savvy Formal Wear in the mall.
And right. You're like, well, it looked like Don Draper.
Cyril just can't stop being at riots and uprisings and stuff.
Yeah.
Another shot of that same thing. People running for their lives. There's
Melshi.
No, what's his name? Not Melshi. The other dude.
What? That's Melshi,
right?
No. Someone prove me wrong.
What am I thinking? What's the other name I'm thinking?
Who?
From Rogue One? Or what's the last name? First and last name?
Who?
I don't know. I'm tripping. Delete that. Oh, a gun at the party. Is that the party? Or just in maybe ISB? What's in this person's hand back here?
It's hard to see. It does look like that could be at. Who is that character? Why do we know who that is?
With the blaster?
Yeah. This looks definitely Coruscant-y. This looks like it could be the same place as where the riot's happening outside. But that's definitely Mon Mothma formal wear. I think she might be like, this is their escort. Yeah, I like Physics Buddy Joe says they're all wearing Chandrillan blue, which that makes sense. And the way it's a very regal look to them. So this could be some kind of,
a hearing or something.
We're going to send a party over or something like that. So this is intense. Finally, first alien we've seen.
Yeah.
in this episode or in this trailer.
It's another shot, different angle from the tie hanger altercation crashing through the ceiling. More explosions in a different place. What is that spider-looking creature on the wall? That
some weird spider. I don't know.
It's interesting.
I just had a
Star Wars
random
with
thought.
spiders,
I
man.
wonder.
It's a
I
creek
wonder
now.
if Tony Gilroy saved a lot of money by not having aliens in the show.
I mean,
I wonder.
at this point,
Yeah.
Just costumes and humans.
Yeah. Spent all that
As if
extra money
budget
on-
was an issue on this show, particularly. They're
I
like,
mean,
how
I'm
much have
just
you
saying,
spent on
maybe
this?
he got more. Maybe he got more like financial runway by just not having aliens.
We put the creature effects budget in the fabric budget, and for the tailoring,
Yeah, sure.
all the finest
Right,
fabrics.
we don't have enough money for aliens, but we've got enough for a custom suit, and we're gonna repaint and we're gonna make new armor troopers again. We're making a different variation. Yeah, that looks like some kind
Cassian
of spider.
jumping over bars. Yeah, this is again looks like a place where there could be some kind of like reception or whatever. Like I wonder how much of this is going to take place on Coruscant, and how much of all of this fighting is happening right there in the thick of things, in the urban centers, you know? Because we spent so much time, way out on Aldhani and all these kind of things in the first season,
Right.
and now they're in it. Another explosion, people getting blown against the wall. That seems like a... Ooh, look at that warping right there as this detonation happens. I love that. It's like not just motion blur, like it warps the whole area. That's great. There's Bix getting assaulted by some Imperial douche. And then this guy who one of the patrons put in the chat, Physics Buddy Joe, what is this actor's name? Who is the character? Do we know?
Who?
Go back in the chat, see, from the Emmys, Physics Buddy Joe posted, he said, that's why Mon's doing the exaggerated dance moves.
Yeah, that's definitely that actor. I don't know who that is.
Okay. Screaming. Oh, there's
Screaming
Cyril's
guy.
mom.
Mm-hmm.
Having a good laugh. There's another guy screaming in the middle of a battle.
Now he's
Just
holding an
stepped on a
E11.
Lego.
So he's holding an E11. So that means he took that off
the standard
Stormtrooper.
trooper blaster. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody back there's got a shovel or something. They're about to whack somebody with. There's Saw interrogating somebody with a big beard and shorter hair, looking like this is maybe a flashback.
Yeah, this is interesting. I can't
unless
tell if
this
this
is-
is
One of the first arcs, and then the shot we saw earlier is from the final arc, right?
his armor. Yeah, it's like this looks like a gas mask to me. This
On
looks
the person
like
that he's shaking.
right, and I wouldn't be surprised if. Oh, I don't know, man. Is this Aldhani?
Maybe. I mean, you look at that stuff in the back left, that
don't
kind
know.
of slanted, brutalist
Yeah,
looking sort
I
of
don't know.
structure.
And I can't tell if Saw's armor is actually if this is a younger Saw. Does he have the? Does this look like fresher armor?
It does to me. It looks more.
It has a shine to
looks
it,
closer
right?
to Rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this might be younger Saw.
Yeah, I mean, if we're skipping that much time across the 12 episodes, this could be the first arc, you know?
Huh. Yeah. Nice.
And then the
Look at this guy.
the smirk shot of Cassian in the place where the bombs went off. He's in a pretty formal outfit. He's got almost like a tie clip right there, hair slicked back. That's not slicked back. That's pushed back.
Hey, push it back a little bit. Let me get your comb.
I said was. April 22nd, season 2. There we go, Disney Plus. Sick trailer.
Okay.
Great
I'm just
job.
gonna, as we wrap up here, I'm gonna skip back to this beautiful shot of all this armor wherever it is, so we can just leave that while we talk because it's beautiful. There we go. Okay, we need to wrap up, so we shouldn't get into predictions and things. That'll be for the bingo episode. But I'm even more stoked than I was 55 minutes ago when we started this thing. I can say that for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks great. I am terrified of the release schedule, but it looks so good. And that terrified feeling only comes from being a podcaster. If I was just a person watching Star Wars, I'd be like, hell yes, this is amazing. We're basically getting a movie every week for 4 weeks.
Yeah, so we talked about maybe doing an immediate reaction thing and then a full breakdown the next day, or say Thursday maybe.
Yep. I'm hoping that we will get that early access in Japan, similar to Kenobi. I know that they released it early for everyone so that the people who were at Celebration could watch it at about 7:00 that night, and then it came out at 2 a.m. or whatever the standard release. So I think I'm hoping that they do something like that. I feel like with all of these Star Wars fans in one place, I will be shocked if they don't do an early release for it. I guess we'll wait and see as we get closer. But April 22nd, which is interesting, is back on a Tuesday, not on a Wednesday. So I guess we'll wait and see what time it drops. Does it drop at 6 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern? What are we doing? Who knows?
Yeah, we're talking about over 2 hours, 4 weeks in a row, each week.
That's Jason said it earlier in the chat. He's like, you're basically getting a new Star Wars movie, a sequel to Rogue One. A prequel to Rogue One every week
for a month.
You know what I mean? When you think about that, you're like, that is insane. So like, what are we screaming about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm so pumped to potentially watch this in not a theater, but in a big auditorium when we're at Celebration, because we've got VIP tickets. We were lucky enough to get a hold of those, so we'll get access to all the panels. And even if we're in one of the multi overflow rooms, still being in a sort of a theater kind of setting is going to be so dope.
Yeah,
very excited.
Whew.
All right, well, lots more to come with this, obviously. Right before we wrap up, do we want to read some responses from the patrons from last week, our after show segment? We've slacked a little bit on this lately. Nick, tell us what the patrons had to say about our bonus episode last week.
So the question was, if you could have one Star Wars collectible, what would it be? And the first answer we got was 43% burnt Anakin, saying any one of Ralph McQuarrie or Harrison Ellenshaw's matte paintings used in The Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
Sipping a glass of wine in my reading chair under an original matte painting of Dagobah would be peak self-care. I like that.
Can you imagine putting one of those up on your actual, like on a window in your house?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Physics Buddy Joe says Millennium Falcon filming model, full scale preferably, but I'd settle for a model.
I'll settle for a model.
Bat. Yeah. Beggars can't be choosers. SoCal Bat says, such a hard choice to pick just one thing, but my gut reaction, the original Darth Vader helmet worn in A New Hope.
Ooh,
not bad.
Did that survive?
Right there.
Is that in a museum somewhere or a private owner?
I believe so. Well, there's a couple of them.
From 77.
There's this. Yeah, there's the stunts and there's the hero ones, but yeah, there's a couple of those that still exist.
Tight.
And finally, the Blue Guy 808 says, wouldn't even hesitate to go for one of the Star Destroyer filming miniatures. If I could get one, I'll figure out where I'm going to put it later.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It shows up. You're like, we don't need a couch. We don't need a couch. We can move the couch. We can get the couch somewhere else. Let's just put this right in the middle of the room.
Couches are overrated.
Right? I don't need it. I can sit on this thing.
Just stand. Burns more calories.
Right. Close the rings. Yeah.
Right.
Nice. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. Again, patrons or anyone who wants to become a patron, our bonus segment for Patreon, the after show segment, we're going to talk about this Kathleen Kennedy situation. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It seems like it's almost definitely real, and we've all been feeling like we're turning a corner. We're at an inflection point in Star Wars. It's been, 13 years now since Disney acquired Star Wars, so we'll see. But we'll talk about our feelings about that and do a little bit of, processing. So join us at patreon.com/thankthemakerpod if you want to check that out, and every bonus segment that we do. And also, I'm not at home, by the way. Obviously, I'm in LA. I'm recording with my band right down the street from Jason's office, actually.
Wow. Story of the year, new music when? Probably next year.
This year sometime.
Oh?
Something.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully
And
before When We Were Young, at least one song.
Speaking of which, day 2 is announced.
Yep.
Nick, you're about to be going on tour.
Yeah, I don't even remember if I've been on the podcast since we announced all of it, but I basically start in the first leg of our tour. Our 25th anniversary tour starts in a month.
Amazing.
We got Buffalo, we got Toronto, we got Cleveland, Chicago, and Detroit in the first leg. 2 shows in every city. So buy some damn tickets, people.
Okay,
Please.
Bayside.com, when we were
please.
young.com, fest or whatever it is. So come see our boys. And then there's a couple other things coming up, but we don't have to talk about that yet.
We'll catch up with that next week.
Let's just get to the point.
Let's get to the point. All right. Again, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Patrons, we'll see you in the after show segment. Everyone else, may the force be with you. If you enjoy Thank the Maker, you can support us by following and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Or you can support us directly at patreon.com/thankthemakerpod, where you can get access to our Discord server, exclusive content, exclusive merch, our recording live stream, and more. Our patrons quite literally make Thank the Maker possible.